8,000? My mother slammed a screenshot of a bank transfer onto the table. You earn 18,000 a month. And you only give us 8? I said nothing. Your brother is getting married. The bride price alone is 500,000. How much do you plan to contribute? I just got divorced. So what? She laughed coldly. We raised you all these years. Even if you spent your whole life, you'd never repay that debt. She pulled a notebook from the drawer. Come here, let me calculate how much you owe us. The notebook in her hands was yellowed with age. On the cover were 4 words written clearly. Debt ledger, Lin Wan. From the day you were born, I started keeping records. She opened to the first page. 1992, medical expenses, 3.000. Milk powder, 200 a month. That's enough, I said quietly. She raised her hand to stop me. Do you think raising a child is cheap? I took a deep breath. For 10 years after I started working, I sent you at least 80,000 every year. So? She pushed the notebook toward me. Go on, look at the last page. I didn't move. I already knew what was written there. Since childhood, whenever I disobeyed, she would take out this notebook. When I was young, it was a threat. When I grew up, it became pressure. 1.8 million, she read for me. From the day you were born until you turned 18. That's how much we spent on you. Our combined salary was less than 6,000 a month. She continued sharply. Everything went into you. If it weren't for you, we wouldn't have lived such a hard life. I laughed softly. Then where is my brother's debt ledger? She froze. That's different. How is it different? He's a son. My father coughed lightly beside her. Your mother is right. A son is the root of a family. I stood up. I understand now. Understand what? I understand that I owe you 1.8 million. I picked up my bag. And I also understand that I don't intend to pay it back. My mother's face flushed red. What did you say? I said starting next month. You won't get even the 8,000. I walked toward the door. Lin Wan, stop right there. I didn't turn back. You dare leave? You dare stop sending money? I'll go to your company and make a scene. That's up to you. The door closed. Outside was March in Beijing. The wind was bitterly cold. But my heart felt even colder. At 9 that night, my phone rang. It was my brother, Lin Hao. You made Mom so angry she was hospitalized. I was eating takeout. What illness? Anger, he said accusingly. Why did you say those things to her? What did I say? You said you won't give money anymore. That's right. Silence on the line. Don't do this. Lin Hao lowered his voice. Mom just talks tough. Don't take it seriously. Which part was just talk? Anyway, you can't really stop giving money, right? I put down my chopsticks. Lin Hao, you're 28. You graduated 6 years ago. How many months have you actually worked? Those jobs weren't suitable for me. Our parents' pension together is 500. I said calmly. I give you 3,000 a month. Pay your social insurance, and even helped buy your car. That was voluntary, he snapped. Why are you being so calculating? You just said I sent Mom to the hospital. I replied. I've been giving 8,000 a month for 10 years. What about you? My situation is different. How? I'm a man. I'll support our parents in the future. I can't even support myself now. His voice suddenly exploded. What are you implying? Looking down on me? Just because you make money? You think you're impressive? You owe Mom and Dad. He shouted. If you had any conscience at all, you'd pay for my wedding. I hung up. The food had gone cold. So had my appetite. I opened my phone gallery and stopped at a screenshot. 3 months ago, I had accidentally seen a chat between Lin Hao and his girlfriend. She asked, "Does your sister really give your family 8,000 every month?" Lin Hao replied, "Yes, she owes my parents. Mom said they raised her for 18 years, she'll never finish paying it back in this lifetime." The girlfriend asked, What about you? Lin Hao replied. I'm different. I'm a son. I'll support them in the future. A daughter who marries out is like water poured away. If you don't take from her, who do you take from? I saw that message the day after my divorce. My marriage had lasted 3 years. Chu Yuan was a gentle man. We met through an introduction. His family background was ordinary, but he was responsible. The first year of marriage was peaceful. Problems started in the second year. Your mom asked for money again? Chu Yuan asked one night, seeing me transfer funds. Yes. Didn't you just send 5,000 last week? That was for my brother. He said nothing and went into the kitchen. I knew he was uncomfortable, but I didn't know how to refuse. Since childhood, my mother had repeated one sentence. I raised you. You should be grateful. I was grateful. College tuition and living expenses were paid by my family. Even though every transfer came with detailed questioning, it was still support. My first month working, I sent home 2,000. She was happy. The second month, she asked for 3. The third month, 5. My salary was only 6,000 then. Young people should save, she said. You don't spend much anyway. I didn't know how to respond. Later, as my salary increased, so did the amount I sent home. Before marriage, I earned 15,000 and sent 8. Chu Yuan knew and didn't object. He said being filial was right. What he didn't know was that 5,000 of that went directly to my brother. In our second year of marriage, my mother said, your brother wants to buy a house. He's short 30,000 for the down payment. You contribute 20. I don't have that much saved. Then borrow it. That night, Chu Yuan asked if something was wrong. I said no. The next day, I took out a loan for 200,000. He didn't know. In the third year, my mother said, your brother's car was damaged. He needs a new one. Give 15,000. I'm still paying debt. What debt? The loan for his house. You can't afford it? She raised her voice. Don't you earn over 10,000 a month? After everything, nothing was left. That night, Chu Yuan found the loan documents. 200,000? He stared at me. Is this for your brother? I lowered my head. When we married, he said quietly, you said you sent home 5,000 a month. I agreed, but you secretly borrowed 200,000 for your brother. You're not supporting your parents. He said bitterly, you're supporting your entire family alone. He looked at me. Do you know what hurts the most? One phone call from your parents. And you'll sacrifice everything. Then what am I? I couldn't answer. Half a year later, we divorced. On the day of the divorce, my mother called. I heard you divorced. Yes. Why? Incompatible personalities. She paused. What about the house? Split. How much did you get? 700,000. Great, she said, relieved. Your brother's wedding will cost about 600,000. Give 50 first. Standing outside the civil affairs office, watching Chu Yuan walk away, I cried. Not because of the divorce, but because I finally understood. In my parents' eyes, I was never a daughter. I was just a machine that dispensed money. I refused. So she came to Beijing. She sat in my tiny rental room, barely 10 square meters, her eyes scanning every corner. How much is the rent? She asked. 3,500. You make 18,000 a month and live in a place like this? She frowned. Where does all your money go? To you. We only take 8,000 a month, she said calmly. For 10 years, I replied, that's 960,000. Plus 200,000 for my brother's house. Plus 150,000 for his car. That was borrowed, she said. He'll pay it back later. I laughed softly. He doesn't work. What will he use to pay it back? He will, she said casually. He's only 28. Young people need time. I started working the month I graduated. But he's different. How is he different? He's a son. He needs to be careful choosing a job. I looked at her. Mom, have you ever thought about why he's 28 and still has no stable job? He's unlucky. No, I said slowly. He's not unlucky. He knows he has a sister like me. So he doesn't need to try. Her expression changed instantly. What are you implying? In 10 years of working, I said, I've never bought a single piece of clothing over 500. I pointed to my sweater. This cost 99. That was my choice. How much are his sneakers? She stayed silent. 2008, I answered for her. He asked you to buy them. That's different. He's a son. So sons can depend on others. I said quietly. And daughters must repay a debt? She stood up abruptly. What nonsense are you talking about? You're the older sister. Taking care of your brother is natural. We're old, she continued. If we don't rely on you, who do we rely on? And me? I asked. What about me? You married out, she said indifferently. You're someone else's family. I'm divorced. That's because you're incapable, she replied coldly. Xu Yuan was such a good man. You ruined it. Do you know why we divorced? I asked. Because you didn't get along. No. I looked straight at her. It's because I secretly borrowed 200,000 to buy a house for my brother. She froze. Xu Yuan had said, I don't want a wife who gives everything to her original family. He was wrong, my mother said. No, I replied, he wasn't. The one who was wrong was me. I said each word clearly. I was wrong for believing that one day you would see me as your daughter. My mother stayed with me for 3 days. During those 3 days, I went to work as usual. Every evening when I came home, I found her sitting in the living room, on the phone. Sometimes she called my brother. Sometimes she called relatives back in our hometown. The message was always the same. What's wrong with that girl, Lin Wan? I'm not even asking her for much. Just a little money. We raised her all these years. And now that her wings are grown, she doesn't recognize family anymore? On the night of the 3rd day, she finally spoke directly. 50,000, will you give it or not? No. Then 30,000? No. 20? She put her chopsticks down hard. You don't have money? You sold the house and got 70,000. I paid back the 200,000 loan. I said calmly. There's also 30,000 in bank interest left. That leaves 47,000. I still have rent, daily expenses, and credit card bills. How much credit card debt? 80,000. She stared at me. You owe that much? Every month I gave you 8,000. Another 2,000 went to paying off my brother's car loan. My salary is 18,000. I continued. Rent is 3,000. What's left is just enough to live. Then where did your savings go? What savings? I laughed bitterly. In 10 years of working, the most I ever saved was 150,000. Then you called once, and I gave you 100,000 to buy a car for him. Her face darkened. Then work harder in the future. I already have. That's working hard, she scoffed. 18,000 in Beijing is nothing. Then come to Beijing and work yourself. What kind of attitude is that? She stood up. I'll say it one last time. I said. I don't have money. From now on, even the 8,000 a month will stop. You dare? If I don't give it? I asked. What are you going to do to me? She clearly didn't expect that question. I'm your mother. I gave birth to you. I raised you. You raised me for 18 years. I said. And I've supported you for 10. Is that enough? She slammed the table. Not even close. You think that 1.8 million is a joke? I've seen the notebook, I said. And I did the math. Your combined income was under 6,000 a month. 18 years is 216 months. That's less than 1.3 million total income. How did you spend 1.8 million on me? Her mouth opened slightly. Well, inflation, effort, all of that counts. Effort can be priced? I asked. Why not? Then how much is my effort worth? I said. 10 years of supporting my brother. How much is my divorce worth? How much is 10 years in Beijing with no house, no savings, no marriage worth? All the money went to you, I said softly. So how much does that count for? That's what you're supposed to do, she replied. I smiled. So I'm supposed to give up everything to support a 28-year-old man who doesn't work. I'm supposed to exhaust my life supporting two able-bodied adults. Who are you calling lazy? She shouted. Dad is 55, I said. Healthy, why doesn't he work? His back hurts. Then what about my brother? 28, healthy, why doesn't he work? He's looking for 6 years. She raised her hand. I didn't dodge. Her hand stopped midair. You've changed, she said slowly. You weren't like this before. Yes, I replied. Before, I was foolish. When she left, she threw one sentence behind her. If your brother can't get married, don't ever call me your mother again. I didn't walk her out. I stood by the window and watched her get into a ride-hailing car. My phone rang. It was Lin Hao. Sister, you've gone too far. What now? Mom stayed with you for 3 days. And you didn't give her a single cent. I don't have money. I sold the house. It's gone. You're lying, he snapped. You did it on purpose. You don't want me to live well. I've always been jealous of you, he added coldly. I froze. Jealous of what? Jealous that our parents love me. You think they favor you because I'm jealous? I asked. He laughed. You giving money to mom and dad is what you should do. You're my sister. Taking care of me is only natural. Now I want to get married. And you won't even spend a cent. Are you even human? I took a deep breath. You're 28. There you go again, he said impatiently. You have a house and a car. I continued. They came from our parents. From me. Family money, right? Family? I laughed. Then why are your debts paid by others? And mine are mine alone? That's different. How is it different? You're a woman. You'll marry out. You're someone else's family. I already married, I said. And I already divorced. That's because you're incapable. I fell silent. His tone softened. Sister, won't you really help me? 50,000, he said. Just lend it to me. With what will you repay it? I'll work and pay you back. You've avoided real work for 6 years, I replied. That's not bad luck. It's because you know I exist. You don't need to try. What do you mean? I said, word by word. From today on, you won't get a single cent from me. If you want to get married, earn it yourself. You're crazy, he shouted. I'm not, I said calmly. I've just woken up. I hung up. Outside the window, the sky was dark. Rain was coming. The following month, I lived a life I had never lived before. 18,000 salary. 3,000 rent. No 8,000 sent home. No 2,000 car payments for my brother. For the first time, my money belonged to me. I went to a mall and bought a coat for $599. Standing in the fitting room, looking at myself in the mirror, I suddenly broke down crying. At 32 years old. This was the first item in my life that cost more than $500. I went to the dentist and filled 3 cavities. It cost over $2,000. They should have been treated years ago. I just never had the money. I started eating properly. Stopped surviving on cheap delivery food. On weekends, I even went to the movies. For the first time, I felt this was what normal life looked like. This was the life an 18,000 salary was meant for. Half a month passed peacefully. Then the storm arrived. It was a Saturday. I was watching a movie at home when the doorbell rang. I opened the door. 3 people stood outside. My father, my mother, and a strange middle-aged woman. They stepped aside. My mother pushed me back into the room. The woman followed. This is your second aunt, my mother said coldly. She came from the hometown. Second aunt. I searched my memory, my mother's cousin. Someone I hadn't seen in over 10 years. Lin Wan, she said, sizing me up. You're all grown up. I hear you're doing big business in Beijing. I said nothing. Sit down, my mother ordered. Today, everything must be made clear. My father coughed lightly. Wan, your mother hasn't been well lately. Her heart. Enough, my mother interrupted. Lin Wan, what exactly do you plan to do? About what? Your brother. You won't give money, she sneered. Do you know why your aunt came today? She stared at me. Are you really going to ruin your brother's life? If you don't give money, he'll never get married. His girlfriend wants 50,000 for the engagement. That's his problem, I said. If he doesn't have money, he can work for it. My mother choked on her words. Second aunt cleared her throat. Wan, she said gently. Let me be fair. Your brother lacks ambition, yes, but he's still your blood. You earn so much, what's wrong with helping a little? I looked at her. Do you know how much I've given this family in 10 years? How much? At least 1.3 million. She froze. My mother's face darkened further. That's what you should do. Should? I turned to my mother. Then what should my brother do? He has no money, what can he do? Why doesn't he earn it? That's his business. Then why is it my responsibility to pay for his marriage? Because you're his sister. So being a sister means being drained endlessly? Enough. My mother stood up. Why are you speaking so harshly? I stood as well. Mom, let me ask you one question. Ask. If my brother and I both fell into the water, who would you save first? She froze. What kind of question is that? Just answer it. Of course, your brother. I smiled. Why? He's a son, he can't swim. I can't swim either. Because he is my son, my mother finally said. He has to carry on the family line. You don't. She couldn't answer anymore. I looked straight at her. Repeat what you just said. Say it again. She fell silent. In her eyes, my life mattered less than my brother's. I spoke slowly, clearly. Then why should I use my money, my entire life, to support him? The room went quiet for a long time. Second aunt awkwardly took a sip of water. My father lowered his head and said nothing. My mother's face flushed red. Lin Wan, she said, her voice trembling. You've truly broken my heart. I raised you for 32 years. And this is how you treat me? You didn't raise me for 32 years. I replied. I became an adult at 18. After that, I supported myself. What about your college tuition? She shot back. Those 4 years of tuition and living expenses, who paid them? I've repaid that 3 times over, I said calmly. And it still wasn't enough for you. She took a deep breath. I don't want to argue, she said, but there are things I must say. Say them, she replied. You and Dad never treated me as a daughter. What nonsense, she jumped up. How could we not? Then what did you treat me as? I asked. She didn't answer. You treated me as an ATM, I said, looking straight at her. From my very first paycheck, you started calculating. I was helping you save, she argued. Save for whom? For my brother's house? His car? She opened her mouth but said nothing. Do you remember when I got married? I continued. How much dowry did you give me? None, I answered for her. You said a daughter who marries out is like water poured away. Why give dowry? That's tradition, she said weakly. But when my brother got married, I said, smiling faintly. You demanded 50,000 from me. What kind of tradition is that? She went silent. When I divorced, I asked softly. What was the first thing you asked me? She didn't respond. You asked how the house was divided. How much money I got. I looked at her. You never asked if I was sad. If I was hurt. Her eyes reddened. I just didn't know how to say it. It's not that you didn't know how. I shook my head. It's that you didn't care. How could I not care? I gave birth to you. Is giving birth enough? I asked, pressing my hand to my chest. Then why does this place feel so empty? She stared at me. Growing up, I continued. How many times did you praise me? I ranked third in the entire county on the college entrance exam. You said, so what? Still a girl. When I got my first job, you said $6,000 a month was nothing. Worse than my brother playing games for money. When I got promoted and earned more, you said whatever I made would belong to my future husband's family. I looked straight at her. The only time you were happy was when I transferred money. Every time I sent money, you sent a voice message saying, "Juan Juan is so good." Tears rolled down her face. But I didn't stop. Do you know how I lived these 10 years? I never bought decent clothes. Never traveled. Never had savings. I was supporting a 28-year-old brother who doesn't work. And 2 parents who chose not to. Who are you calling lazy? My father finally spoke. Dad, I said calmly. What was your job before retirement? I was a warehouse supervisor at the local distillery. $2,000 a month. And now your pension is $3,000. I continued. How much do you spend every month? He didn't answer. I sent $8,000 every month. I said. You gave my brother $3,000 for living expenses. Where did the rest go? We saved it, he muttered. For what? For his marriage. He lowered his head. 10 years, I said quietly. You drained me for 10 years. That's enough. My mother broke down crying. Lin Juan, I know I was wrong. I favored him before, but you're my own child. How could I not love you? I looked at her. Are these words sincere? I asked. Or are you saying them because I stopped giving money? She froze. If I were still obediently sending $8,000 every month, would you say any of this? You wouldn't, I answered for her. You would just keep taking it. Keep favoring him. Keep treating me like an ATM. That's not true. It is, I said calmly. I stood up and walked to the window. Do you know when I first felt something was wrong? I asked. When? When I got married. She looked at me. Xu Yuan's parents gave us $100,000 to buy appliances. For the first time, I said. I realized that parents could give money to their children. Our family has no money, she said. No, I turned back. You gave all the money to him. That's different. How is it different? He's a son, he has to get married. So did I said. But you said when I married, I was spending someone else's money. I smiled bitterly. Do you know why I divorced? Incompatible personalities, she said. No. I stepped closer. It was because I secretly borrowed $200,000 to buy a house for my brother. She stood frozen. Xu Yuan found out and asked me why. I had no answer. You said it was something I should do. He told me, I said quietly, that he married me, not my entire family. He said he didn't want a wife whose money all went to her original family. You said he was heartless. He wasn't, I shook my head. You were just too greedy. What are we greedy for? She cried. You wanted me to give money my entire life. I said. You wanted me to raise my brother forever. You wanted me to be your ATM forever. That's not true. Then why did you come to me? I asked. She opened her mouth but couldn't speak. You came for money, I said clearly. Your love and regret are empty. Only the money is real. Her face turned pale. Am I wrong? She didn't answer. And I no longer needed one. That day, second aunt persuaded them for a long time before they left. Before leaving, my mother said one last thing. Just wait, when you're old, no one will support you. I didn't reply. When the door closed, I slid down against the wall. I didn't cry. I was just exhausted. After 32 years, I finally understood something. Some parents have children not out of love, but out of need. They need someone to support them in old age. They need a vessel to carry on the bloodline. They need an ATM they can withdraw from any time. And I was exactly what they needed. That night, my brother called. They left already? Yes. You're really not giving money anymore? No. What am I supposed to do? His voice trembled. My girlfriend says if there's no 50,000 engagement money, it's over. Then let it be over. Sister. I took a deep breath. You're 28. Can you think for yourself now? Think what? If you don't have a job, find one. I can't find one. It's not that you can't, I said. It's that you don't want to. Why would you say that? Because you're used to being supported, I replied. As a child, by our parents. As an adult, by me. I'm your brother. And I'm supposed to be drained because of that? I didn't drain you, he protested. The house deposit was 60,000, you only paid 20. I bought your 15,000 car, I said. I covered half your living expenses every month. Our parents told me to give it to you. You took it without hesitation. He went silent. What do you want, then? He finally asked. I want you to grow up, I said. You're grown already, just not in the head. Sister. This is the last time, I interrupted. You will not get a single cent from me again. If you want something, earn it yourself. I've worked from 18 to 32, I said. 14 years. I never asked anyone for money. You don't work because you choose not to. Do you know how much my first salary was? I asked. How much? 3,000. I continued. 1,000 for rent, 500 for food. That left 1,000. I saved 500 and sent 500 to mom and dad. Lin Hao fell silent. I never complained that my salary was low, I said. Because I knew no one could support me. And now, I continued. You need to understand this too. From today on, no one will support you anymore. But you're my sister, he said. Yes, I replied calmly. But I'm not your ATM. I hung up. Outside, it was already completely dark. I stood there for a long time. Then I booked a plane ticket to Sanya. It was the first trip of my life. When I returned from Sanya, a week had passed. My skin was a little more tanned. My mood was much lighter. For 7 days, I woke up naturally every morning. Walked along the beach. Ate seafood. And sat quietly watching the waves. No phone calls. No one asking for money. No one making demands. Only then did I realize. This is what normal life feels like. Not long after returning to Beijing, I received an unexpected call. It was from Lin Hao's girlfriend. Hello, is this Lin Wan? Yes. My name is Zhang Lin. I'm Lin Hao's girlfriend. Her voice was calm. Is it convenient to talk for a moment? We've broken up, she said. It wasn't because of the engagement money. Then why? I asked. Do you know what Lin Hao told me about you? She asked quietly. I don't. She paused for a few seconds. He said you'd been jealous of him since childhood. He said that after you started working, you deliberately refused to send money home. So he didn't have money to go to college. I clenched my jaw. He also said you divorced because you looked down on your husband's poor family. That it was because you lacked ability. I believed him, Zhang Lin said with a bitter laugh. I believed him for 2 years. And then? I asked. Then I went back to his hometown. To see his family? Yes, she said. He refused to work, so I wanted to see what kind of family he grew up in. And I realized, everything was a lie. I said nothing. The house had just been renovated. Everything inside was brand new. The neighbors told me you paid for all of it. And then I saw a notebook. My heart skipped a beat. In that notebook, she said, every expense was recorded, from the day you were born until you turned 18. I asked his mother about it. She said you owed the family 1.8 million. She truly believed that. So I calculated it, Zhang Lin continued. If it really were 1.8 million, your parents' annual income would have needed to exceed 100.000. But your father's salary was less than 3.000 a month. I calculated carefully. I even asked the neighbors. They all said you were the most filial child they'd ever seen. Every New Year, you brought gifts home. After you started working, you sent money every month. Lin Wan, she said softly. I want to ask you one thing. Go ahead. Is Lin Hao really unlucky? Or is that why he never worked? I stayed silent for a long time. Then what is it? She pressed. Because he knew, I finally said, that someone would always support him. When he was young, it was our parents. When he grew up, it was me. Then why did you support him? She asked. I thought for a moment. Because I believed. That was what an older sister was supposed to do. But now? She asked. Now I understand, I said. I don't owe anyone anything. There was a long silence on the other end. Finally, she spoke. Thank you. For what? For helping me see Lin Hao clearly, she said. And for helping me understand what real independence means. 1 year later, I became the chief financial officer of a new company. My monthly salary was 32.000. Plus bonuses, my annual income was close to 500.000. I bought a small 2-bedroom apartment. The monthly mortgage was 8.000. The down payment came from my own savings. Plus the portion I received after the divorce. The apartment wasn't big. Just over 60 square meters. But it was mine. Completely mine. On weekends, I cooked for myself, watched movies. Sometimes worked overtime. Life was simple. But steady. That afternoon, while walking downstairs in my neighborhood, I ran into someone familiar. Xu Yuan. He was standing near a coffee shop not far away. And saw me too. Lin Wan. Xu Yuan. We looked at each other for a few seconds. Then he walked over. You live here? He asked. Yes. And you? I asked. My parents live nearby. I came to visit. Oh. The atmosphere was a little awkward. How have you been lately? He asked. Very well. I heard, you cut off contact with your parents. Yes, I said. It's been over half a year. He fell silent. I also heard your brother found a job. I froze. Really? An old friend from your hometown mentioned it, he said. He's working at a construction site now. Earning 7,000 or 8,000 a month. That's good, I said. We fell silent again. Lin Wan, Xu Yuan said, looking at me. Back then, I was too impatient. It wasn't your fault. I should have given you more time. No, I interrupted gently. You didn't do anything wrong. He looked surprised. The fault was mine, I said. I put too much money and energy into my original family. And neglected our marriage. You deserved better. I looked at him. Do you have a girlfriend now? He hesitated, then nodded. That's good, I smiled. I wish you happiness. You too. I nodded and turned to leave. Lin Wan, he called after me. I stopped. You've changed, he said. You look more like yourself now. I didn't turn back. Thank you. I kept walking. After a few steps, I took out my phone. There was an unread message. It was from my brother. Sis, I've been working at the construction site for half a year now. I've saved 30,000. This is the first money I've ever earned myself. I want to thank you. Thank you for not helping me anymore. I stared at the message for a long time. The spring wind blew warmly between the buildings. In the distance, a few children were running across the grass. I suddenly remembered when I was young, running freely through the fields of my hometown. Back then, I didn't know what debt was. I was just a child. Later, I became an ATM. And then, I became a person. An independent person. Whole. Completely myself. I put my phone away and continued walking home. At the entrance of the building, I stopped and looked up at the distant sky. There's one thing I've never told anyone, I thought. That notebook, the one recording that I owed my parents 1.8 million. The last time I went back home, I turned to the final page. At the bottom of that page, there was a small line of handwriting, my mother's. Lin Wan, 18 years old. A daughter is useless. I saw those words at 3 a.m. My parents were already asleep. I sat in the living room all night. The next morning, I returned to Beijing. I've never gone back since. The motion sensor light in the hallway turned on. I pressed the elevator button. The doors opened. I stepped inside and pressed 17. I live on the 17th floor. The 17th floor. A new beginning.